Hello, I'm Alex the Hunted. So, Godzilla in video games. He hasn't exactly had the best record when it comes to his games, but that doesn't mean there aren't good ones. These are what I think are the 10 best Godzilla games. Now I will say the bottom few are just okay, they're not really great, but I kind of needed them to fill out the top 10 list. So let's begin with number 10. Super Godzilla. Super Godzilla is an interesting idea for a Godzilla game. It's a strategy fighting game, whatever that's supposed to mean, where you spend a good time in the game, well, just walking as Godzilla from point A to point B, and you fight something at the end, with this weird turn-based fighting strategy system. So when you do finally fight something, your turn is decided by your fighting spirit, and you get to pull off an attack, which you get a mini cutscene, and an unskippable mini cutscene. So I hope you like watching the same 4 attacks over and over. You march from one spot to another and you don't really get to do that much destroying as Godzilla because destroying buildings takes away your health. I know why they did it, so you don't just charge in a straight line to the goal, but the point of a Godzilla game is to be destroying stuff. You are the god of monsters, you are the king of the monsters, the god of destruction. So destroying buildings shouldn't really hurt you. It's not a good game, but it's not a bad game. It's a decent idea that hasn't been done since, and some would say for good reason. But Super Godzilla is one of those games as a G fan you're either gonna love or hate. It's a perfectly okay Godzilla game. Number 9. Godzilla Kaiju Battle Royale. Thank God for this game, I needed it to fill out the list, otherwise I would probably have to put bloody Godzilla Strike Force at number 10 or something. But yes, Godzilla Kaiju Battle Royale is a fan-made flash game, pretty much featuring every single Toho monster that has ever appeared in something, and even some that never got made. This game is a fun basic fighting flash game. The Kaijus have basic moves, and it's not really deep by any means, but the game has a ton of heart put into it. It's clearly a game made by fans for fans. This game's been going on for damn near 10 years and it's still being updated to this day. It's not one of those skill-based fighting games you can pretty much spam one button and win, but it's a fun game to sink a good couple of hours into. It's a good time-killing Godzilla game. Play it now before Flash dies. Number 8. Godzilla Monster of Monsters. While not the first Godzilla game, this was the first game to get enough attention that it's actually ended up having a bit of a nostalgic following. The first Godzilla NES release, Godzilla Monster of Monsters is a brutally hard scroller beat 'em up. You play as Godzilla and Mothra as you try to save the world from Planet X and their invasion by playing chess, going from one end of the screen to the other, and fighting other monsters in the Black Void. For an NES game it's fine, don't expect too much from it, however it is much easier to play this game as Mothra than it is Godzilla. I also like the weird selection of kaijus in this game. You have the ones you expect, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Gigan, even Hedorah, but you also got some weird picks like Baragon, Varan and Guzora. Even the old Mulgira shows up, and those two haven't even been in a Godzilla movie, and you even get cameos from Manda, Dogora and the Matengos. Also digging into the game code, Rodan and Anguirus were also planned to be playable characters. Godzilla Monster of Monsters is a brutally hard NES game that became the first Godzilla game for many fans. Number 7. Godzilla Strike Zone. When the 2014 Godzilla movie was on its way, many fans wondered if we would get a new Godzilla game. And while we did get something, we got Godzilla Smash 3, which was basically bejeweled with Godzilla, and we also got Strike Zone, which is an Android and iOS game, which is only about 15 minutes, but it's pretty decent. It's a first-person shooter technically, where you play as a soldier during the big final fight scene at the end of the movie. This is a Godzilla game idea I think is a perfect idea for a full game, being a human just trying to survive a kaiju brawl. It's a solid idea that while this game is being short it doesn't fulfill its full potential. It's a great idea, and that Godzilla is actually somewhat scary. You can't buy this game legally anymore, but it's an idea that really is something that should be done with a proper game budget. And with how walking simulators and first-person horror games have sort of exploded over the last few years, the fact no one has made a first-person kaiju survival game, is a great idea that's just waiting to be tapped. And this game shows it. Number 6. City Shrouded in Shadows. While not technically a Godzilla game, Godzilla and other kaijus do show up in it, and that's why I basically use it as the excuse to put it on this list. It's a Japanese exclusive with no English translation, so I have no idea what the story is, but it's another survivor kaiju attack game, and this time it's in the third person, and has plenty of fun with it. You really get a sense of size of these kaiju in this game, and it's just full of kaiju references, not just from Godzilla, but also Gamera, Ultraman and Evangelion also appear for the first time in all 4 of these big kaiju names are in one place. They're never on screen together, but you know, it's a start. But the game does plenty with the idea. Every kaiju gets their moment to shine, and you really get the feeling of how desperate things are when you have explosions and people dying around you and buildings just crumbling. If only this game got an international release. Oh well, moving on. Number 5. Godzilla Domination. The best handheld Godzilla game ever made, Godzilla Domination is just such fun. It's a Godzilla arcade game in your hands. It's fun, plain and simple. The graphic style fits the game perfectly. The kaijus look cartoony but not goofy. And that can be said about the moves. And also the music for this game is just awesome. It's a Godzilla dance music. Yes, this game has flaws, there's only 6 playable kaijus, so you're going to be fighting the same kaiju over and over again. But it's a lot of fun. It's one of those games that really needs a sequel. It's just such a fun time. I used to play this game so much as a kid. This was my car travel game. Honestly, I think this game deserves to be on the list for music alone. Also, I don't know why, but when I was a kid I really liked the female lead. Wonder why. Anyway, it's a great game for the sake of fun. It's not the most advanced Godzilla fighting game there is, but it's just really great fun, and that's all you really need. Number 4, I got stuck which Super Nintendo Godzilla fighting game to put higher. And well, I've put Godzilla Great Monster Battle in 4. Well, the sequel to Battle Legends, I don't think it's better than Battle Legends. The game is still great. The refinements really improve the game from its predecessor and really make it much more of a faster paced fighting game. However, it suffers from all the stuff they just took out. The story mode isn't as good, there are less kaijus and there's less stages to fight at, while the quality of life and balance improvements are better. What they took out just puts it on the same level as the last game. It's a better game in terms of fighting and balance, and each character sprite looks awesome, and they're a brilliant representation of each kaiju, well, apart from Anguirus. But this is a really fun fighting game. One of those games that's easy to play but hard to master. Really, if they're ever going to make a new Godzilla game, they should base it around this. We just want to have some awesome kaiju fighting, that's all we really want. Number 3. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. Here we are, the first Godzilla game for many of us. From the GameCube and original Xbox, this is the Godzilla game that got plenty of non-Godzilla fans into Godzilla. It's a brilliant Godzilla game, it's great fun. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee was a great start to the Pipeworks trilogy, and it's a perfect first Godzilla game for fans. I really do love how this game has this insane knockback physics. It really makes the moves feel like they have massive force behind them, like these monsters are massively powerful when you send another kaiju 50 feet into the air. What holds it back, however, is it's not really that well balanced. Destroyer is the most overpowered character in the game, and the AI is really hard even on easy and will spam moves constantly. Even when you're down, they will just keep attacking you over and over again, and when you're down, it will still do normal damage. That's really the main problem with this game, is the balancing, and well, it's massively sorted out in the sequel. Also, characters like Godzilla 2000 and Mecha King Ghidorah are just basically the same characters as Godzilla 90s and King Ghidorah, they're basically just a skin swap. But that being said, it's a lot of fun, the music is way better than the sequels. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee was the first Godzilla game for many of us, and it was just awesome for so many reasons. Number 2. Godzilla Battle Legends. So this is the best Godzilla 2D game ever made. Battle Legends feels like a celebration of the Godzilla. The story mode lets you recreate the fights from the classic Godzilla movies, up to the point of its release. And there's some great little details like the Godzilla sprite will change from each movie depending on what the Godzilla suit looks like. The sequel didn't do that. Also having monsters fighting in the background like it happened in the movie is just a great attention to detail in a Super Nintendo game. I love the details, and it has a great selection of monsters from both eras, both the Showa and Heisei era, which were the two eras at the time. But weirdly, you can play as Batra but not as Mothra. That's odd. It's a great game. While the sequel refines many parts of it, this time I think the first game is better in my opinion. It has more content and I think it's just a great fun game that was clearly made with a lot of heart and a lot of love for Godzilla. And the number one best Godzilla game in my opinion is... Godzilla Save the Earth. The best Godzilla game ever made, Godzilla Save the Earth, takes everything from Destroy All Monsters Melee and adds new content and fixes things, for the most part. My biggest problem with this game are those bloody tanks. But apart from that, this game is just great. Each kaiju feels unique and has a great variety of moves. They also have different strategies for pretty much every single kaiju. You have the heavy hitters but they're slow, you have the fast but weak ones, you also have the strange ones like Mulgira and Mothra who are sort of strategy fighters, relying on their weapons and long range and sort of being like support characters. It isn't a very fast fighting game, but I think that makes it easier to learn, and also makes the kaijus feel large and powerful. The story mode is not deep by the slightest, but you do also get these fun mini-games, and I like most of them. Well, half of them. The Xbox version I think is the superior version. The kaijus have just better details towards them, and I also like how it doesn't take itself too seriously. There are a lot of little things in this that just make you chuckle. Did you ever picture Space Godzilla doing a come at me hand gesture? This game really is the best Godzilla game ever made. But it's 16 years old. We need a new Godzilla fighting game. A proper one. Please, is that too much to ask? So those are my top 10 favourite Godzilla games. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and let me know what your favourite kaiju games are, and why War of the Monsters is the best kaiju game ever made. Because it is. Oh well, I'm Alex the Hunted, and I will see you guys next time.